Before we get into this one, if you could just hit that subscribe button down below, that'd mean a massive amount to me. But without further ado, let's get into this video. So Leeds have just lost 2-1 away at the Emirates, and because Everton have also won 2-1 away at the King Power against Leicester, we have dropped into the bottom three for the first time since October. And it's not a nice feeling, it's horrendous. I thought it was going to be a lot worse than it was in that first half. That first half was shambolic, embarrassing, pathetic. It was just a disgrace in general. What Luke Ayling did is unforgivable, I'm afraid. And I know it sounds like I'm being dramatic and I'm never usually like this, but it's just stupid. It's just stupidity. Why would you go in 2 feet up knowing that a straight red card means a 3-match ban? So he's out for the rest of the season now. He's out for the rest of the season. Dallas has just broke his leg, so we have no backup. Drama's on loan at Cardiff. So what? Shackleton's barely back from injury. What are we going to do there? We're going to have to play 3 at the back from now on and play somebody else at wing back. What the hell? Why would you do that? Why would you slide in 2 feet up in the corner where it wasn't even like he was going anywhere? It just looked like it was malicious and for no reason. It can't have been that he mistimed it. It must have just been a rush of blood to the head, but I don't know what he was thinking, and I don't know why the hell you would even consider going in 2 feet up. It's ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous, and that's what's annoyed me most about this whole game. The Meslier thing I can forgive because that's an honest mistake and he's not done it on purpose. He should have just got rid of it. And he's a young goalkeeper. You expect mistakes. You expect mistakes from any goalkeeper eventually, and under big pressure in this game, he made a big mistake. Props to Eddie Nketiah for not celebrating that one. But the Luke Ayling thing is the worst thing, because we expected to lose this game, if we're all honest with ourselves. We expected to lose away at Arsenal. But we didn't expect to be so embarrassing and lose a key player early on. And he was supposed to be the captain today as well because Cooper's out. What is that about? That is horrendous. We'll put that to one side now. That's awful, and you know my thoughts on it. The actual game, it wasn't too bad when we got into the second half. The first half, like I say, awful. We were just pinned in, completely pinned in. We could barely get out of our own half. We didn't have a shot. I don't think we had a touch in their box in the first half, and we certainly didn't have a corner, because the first corner we did have was that Diego Llorente goal, and that's the first corner and the first 2 shots we had in the box all game. At the end, we had a few half chances where you thought, oh, maybe it's going to go in, and no, it was never going to happen. But the fact that it was 2-1 is, it doesn't make much of a difference, because the goal difference now was so bad for our goal difference. I think we're minus 35, that it's not going to matter. We just need to win more games than Burnley. I think Everton, to be honest, are going to be okay, especially with where they are now. I think we've just got to win more games than Burnley. If we can get a point at Chelsea, at home against Chelsea, which I'm going to, I can see my tickets now, then that'll be incredible. Because we are really now banking on beating Brighton and Brentford. 6 points from those 2, and if we could make that 7 from those last 3, then, I mean, this is what I said. I went on Joe Wainman's show, the Midweek Fix, during the week, and I said 7 points, and it's probably going to come from the last 3 games. Is what we'll probably need to stay up, but you just never know now. Burnley have had this sudden resurgence, and hopefully, because they've got Tottenham, Villa and Newcastle, hopefully they should be out of sight by the time they play Newcastle in the last game of the season. Tottenham should beat them. I mean, Burnley aren't going to beat Tottenham twice in one season, I hope. And then they've got Villa away, which they just lost 3-0 at home to Villa. So you'd expect them to lose that one as well, hopefully. If we can just get any points on the board, if we can get 4 points from the last... from the next 2 games, then I think we're safe. But it's just a case of getting away from Burnley now. This game, like I say, we never expected to win it, but we didn't expect it to be so embarrassing, so shambolic in the first half. I'll talk about the Dallas t-shirts as well. If you haven't seen this, Leeds put Dallas t-shirts on every seat in the away end, and I just don't think it's... Like, I love Dallas. I absolutely adore the man as much as the next Leeds fan, and he's been incredible for our club and a brilliant servant. Having said that, if it was any player, if it was Calvin then and that had just broken his leg, Why are we putting t-shirts out on the seats like he's died? He's not died. It's ridiculous and OTT. Like, why are we doing things like that? Like, I think it's some sort of thing to try and make the fans have a bit of togetherness, but we already are. You know from the Man City game at the weekend when we just carried on singing when they were scoring goals, and we carried on singing after the final whistle as the players went round, because like, what else can we do? We can just sing together and be supportive as a fan base. So yeah, I think those were another thing that's just a miscalculation by the higher ups at the club, and I think they've done a few of them, including the NFTs recently, but we won't go into that now because we're talking about the actual game away at Arsenal. Eddie Nketiah scored 2 goals. That game could have been 1-1. That game could have been 1-1 if Meslier hadn't done that at the start, and we hadn't have had to stay pinned back so much by the fact that Luke Ayling got sent off about halfway through the first half with that ridiculous tackle that I will never get over. Like Jamie Carragher said at half-time, that could be Ayling's last ever Premier League game. Why would you do that? Why would you do that? It's ridiculous. And then Rafinha looked like he was going to get himself sent off as well, which for a second yellow I think is only a 1-match ban, not a 3-match ban. But he looked like he was going to get himself sent off as well, so I'm glad that eventually Marsh decided to take him off, but I think he should have took him off earlier than he did. There's not much to say about that. The first half was horrendous. The second half, we did what Leeds do and gave ourselves a bit of hope, and then it just never was quite enough in the end. I mean, the commentators were saying, oh, could there be an Alisson moment here with Meslier going up, but it was never going to happen. I just knew that it wasn't going to happen. The final whistle was going to go and we were going to be in the relegation zone, but it is not the time to panic for the club, because we are still level on points with Burnley, level on games. So it's between us and them to get the next win. Whoever gets the next win, it's big pressure on the other team. And we've got to go home against Chelsea and get a result. And Burnley have got to go to Spurs or have Spurs come to them. I can't quite remember which, but honestly, I can't see either of us getting any points out of that game. So then it's going to go to last 2 games, level on points, 34 points each. Then it's going to start being squeaky bum time, and then it's that Brighton game at home. Now, Graham Potter had Bielsa's number, I think. Marsh coming in, he comes in with a different system, a different style, if you can call it that. Obviously, a lot of people have complained about the way that we've played under Jesse Marsh, but it's not his full philosophy because he hasn't had the time to get that across. However, it still is different. And I mentioned this the other week, but you have to look at Southampton versus Brighton games to get a sort of idea of how this one might go, because they are playing Southampton, that is, under the Red Bull philosophy from Hasenhüttl, the Gegen pressing, and a similar style to Marsh. Not exactly the same, but their results against Brighton recent years have been very even. Southampton haven't won many, but it's always been by the odd goal that they've won or lost. So that does put me in good hopes for that game. But I don't want to get into the last game of the season against Brentford and pinning all hopes on it. I am terrified of that. I think we just have to put this Arsenal game behind us. Don't go online and give abuse to Luke Ayling. Don't go online and give abuse to Meslier. It doesn't do anything, and it's just not a nice thing to do, is it? There's no point in atting players online. Just support the club as much as possible. I think that's all we can do now. And so, yeah, it's one of those where we're just going to have to look to the next game and pray that we can get any sort of result against Chelsea at home on Wednesday night, which you'll be seeing a matchday vlog from me from. So that's going to be it for this one. This is my gut match reaction to what's just happened away at Arsenal, and it's not good. We're without Bill for the last 3 games of the season. I don't know who's going to play it right back, but there were signs in there that we can score goals. Was there? I take that back completely. There weren't signs in there that we can score goals, but there were signs in there that even when we look horrendous, we're not completely out of games anymore. When we were a few times under Bielsa towards the latter stages where it would just be 1, 2, 3, and it would just be rolling on and on. I think under Bielsa, in the form of the last games that he was managing, I think we probably would have conceded more goals in that game without having two holding players to protect the defence. So yeah, it's not much to take from it because, like I say, goal difference doesn't make any difference now. We've just got to pray that we can get some results and better results than Burnley. So thanks for watching this one, and I'll see you in a match day vlog from the Chelsea game. Fingers crossed we can get anything from it.